Holy cow, the rain finally stopped in Illinois for a second. Actually, it is still drizzling. You can probably see it's it's overwhelming sometimes here. Hi guys, how are you doing? Uploading this video with some Nomad internet. Hope you guys are doing well, staying dry. It is moist in Illinois. This does concern me. However, I was warned why the property was so cheap. We're not in a flood zone, but we are in, it just doesn't drain around my house. It's really very, very concerning how flooded this is. This is my 50 amp RV cord in about 4 inches of standing water here. The water is coming up to the electrical box here, but it's fully sealed, and that's not a problem or anything. I'm just pointing that out, how high it is, you know. Where do I drain it from to, you know? I mean, we either got to get around that way, or did I mess it up by adding rock here, and I need to build a culvert here, you know, to allow it to get to the front yard? Only thing is there's nowhere else to go after this because we're going uphill into the rock anyway. It has to go, well, what it's doing right now, it's going under the house and over there like that. So anyway, I think we're just about ready here. Let me see. 96 degrees. I can handle that. Just shocking how much it rains in Illinois. It's exhausting. I got a few new things to show you here in Basecamp. Let's take a look. All right, so I turned off the main overhead light here so you can see the new addition, the LED strips that go all around the main living room here. They're on auto right now, so they're color changing. That took a lot of work to get those adhered and level and straight and everything. There's one controller that's up there in the corner above the Papa Murphy's pizza sign, and then I also put them in the other room going around here. So they go all the way around the kitchen area here as well, lighten up the whole arcade here at Basecamp. I've obviously played every single arcade by now. I got the gumball brought in. I ordered some gumballs that go in here so we can test out this antique machine here. I have played my 1932 Mills Castlefront slot machine here plenty. And I moved the change machine next to it here. It just kind of makes sense to have those two together. I put my Miller High Life sign up that I got at that Texas flea market there. And other than that, everything's doing okay. Let me see. The pinball machine here, remember this is a 1978 Playboy pinball. It did give me a little bit of problem starting up. A few times it would not display the high scores and be ready to play. And now, every once in a while, it doesn't play the right tune. You know, like it goes dun 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 dun. Sometimes it's a little weird tune. What else here? Oh, I finally got the side art put on Road Blasters. Which, I mean, I think that looks awesome. I wish it took up the whole thing, but I'm glad there's a company that does reproductions like this. It looks great with the rest of the logos. This is the screen that has the screen burn in it that I need to replace eventually, but it's okay. It's not bad. And then my 18-wheeler American Pro Trucker game. This screen goes out on me and goes blank, goes black every once in a while, pretty much after about an hour of use, maybe 2 hours of it being turned on. If you just turn it off and turn it back on, it always comes back on, but I think there's a problem with this monitor. It needs to be replaced soon. But for right now, it's working okay. Let's go look outside back here at Basecamp. Yeah, so see, just a lot of standing water. Mind you, it has just not stopped raining since I got back to Illinois. Now, here's the lake that I was telling you about here. And, you know, one of my big concerns right here is you can see the concrete block. The water is almost all the way up to it there, and then it's just going to go under the house. I've got to do something about this, and I saw this on the cameras. I saw this going on while I was in Florida. I've got to come up with a system here because it's just pooling right here, and we need to get it downhill quick. So, home ownership, you know. I'm new to all this, but we'll figure it out. I can get Robert up here to help me. I may not utilize Basecamp as much as some of you think I should or something like that. Then we start getting into the you're not a real nomad because you have a house. You're not on the road 12 months anymore. No, I'm not. I'm not. Get over it, guys. It's going to be okay. I am probably going to continue to come back to Basecamp twice a year for a couple weeks or up to 4 weeks. That's just what I'm going to do, just to check on things. And when I get done on the road, I'll always have Basecamp to come back to, so it's gonna be okay. I'm planning my little spring-summer trip right now. But this covered front porch area is going to be great today when it's raining, and I'm enjoying this bad boy. I hope it gets up to 100 degrees. We'll see. Did stop and get some more plywood and some 2x4s behind it because there's always projects going on. That's for the RV. I'm not working on the floor or anything yet in the house, although there are some soft spots here in Basecamp. It can wait. It can wait till I get off the road, probably. Yeah. All right, it is time, folks, for the hot tub time machine. Let's go ahead and give us some bubbles here. Oh my gosh, you wouldn't like it, guys. You would not like this. I can almost guarantee you. You'd love it. Oh, this sucks. This just sucks. I hate this. I hate it. Sucks. I've actually missed my hot tub quite a bit. You can't hear me too well over the bubbles, but this stupid little inflatable hot tub was one of the best inventions ever. It doesn't actually work so well camping. It takes up too much space in the RV, and even when you use your own water and power it by your own solar at the RV parks, pretty much every RV park in the country is anti-hot tub. They just cannot stand the sight of a hot tub. They cannot stand to see the smile on your face, and they will fight you on it till the death. Even if you prove that you used your own water that you brought in and you show them that it's plugged into your solar bank, powered off at the sun, right? They lose their minds. I highly say, if you're an RVer, do not do what I did. Do not get a hot tub for the road. But it works great at Basecamp. And it's so easy to just empty, deflate, throw in the storage shed, although one thing is the top cover there, the inflatable part, some mice got into it in the shed and chewed through the inflatable bladder that goes in the top. It still covers it, but I have noticed that it took a little longer to heat, and the hot tub doesn't hold its heat as well as before. So I went on eBay and found somebody selling a replacement bladder that goes in the cover. So you do need that to maintain 100 degrees apparently, because I can't even get it to hit 100 anymore. But I'd be comfortable in this even at like 85 degrees. It'd be a nice heated pool. So I'll catch you guys in a little bit. I'm gonna get my hot tubisms on. Interesting. Sometimes the 18-wheeler game just starts playing again. The screen comes back on. I didn't turn it off this time. It's working right now. Okay, don't mess with it. However, my Road Blasters game is now out. It's on, the volume works, it's doing its whole thing. You can hear the sound when it's doing stuff. The marquee is lit up there. Screen totally blank. This is the one that's really bad though. It's always had really bad screen burn on it. But no, it is no longer working. Darn it. I took off the back here and went through all of my connections and everything just to make sure nothing had gotten loose or anything, and it looks like the monitor's just gone bad. I will say this is a very highly sought after monitor. It's the good one. This is actually the Wells Gardner 4900 19-inch screen. This one is worth a lot, but this one is worth nothing because she don't work. Anyway, it's not the end of the world. I have lots of other arcades in here, but I really liked this game. Well, just put an out of order sign on it for now. Again, it is weird that the 18-wheeler game is now working again. I know something's wrong with it because the screen just goes blank randomly, but whatever. I'll pull this one out and get the specs on that. Well, since it wasn't raining, I decided to put on my rain boots, grab my shovel, and go out to Nomadic Fanatic Lake, and I actually just put in a little temporary little trench here, and it is diverting the water so far. We'll check back in the morning and see how this worked out. I just hit stop on this, and then 18-wheeler screen went off also. They are dropping like flies here at Basecamp. Still got all the audio. Everything still sounds like it's actually working. Again, another monitor has gone out here, and I know, third world problems, Eric. Everybody's so concerned about your arcade games all not working anymore. I still have three. I've got Miss Pac-Man working. Stop, let's turn it off. I don't know, sometimes these retro machines, they can cause more grief than fun. I'm thankful for the ones that still work right now, but there's a reason why collecting vintage 80s arcades is not a big thing, and I'm enjoying it while it lasts, but I'm gonna get buried here if I don't start finding a way to repair some of these. You don't seem overly concerned about everything. You're not too worried about it, huh? Because there's cat food in the bowl, and there's water in the bowl. Litter box is clean. Dad pretty much takes care of the kitty, so there's no kitty worries, really. You're not too worried about things, are you? Okay. I'm not worried either. I'm just saying. Man. I know. Gonna play some Playboy pinball here, see if I can break some high scores, and then check in the morning, see how well my drain did out there. So I'll catch you in the morning. Yeah, well, good morning, everyone. I'm standing out here in my backyard. The water has completely subsided. I have lost Lake Nomadic Fanatic, but that's a good thing. It may have a little bit to do with the fact that it, stopped raining. That, it could just be that. It's just, it was too much rain, and it finally just saturated down. But I also think I was onto something. Using the shovel and making a little culvert ditch that goes to the front yard there. I think that had a lot to do with it, and I think I'm on the right page there. Something to file away for the immediate future or the distant future, but somehow diverting the backyard water here to the front yard around the house may be something that is definitely worthwhile. So I'm gonna consider that project here while I'm here. Not sure how long I'll be here at Basecamp. I had thought less than 2 weeks, because it is going to warm up. It's not warm right now, but it's going to warm up, and I'm gonna start itching to get up north and see new stuff. So I've been at it this morning, project-wise, cutting up wood and constructing inside the RV. Every time I come back to Basecamp, there's a bunch of big old branches that are really brittle from this tree, and it concerns me slightly that the branches are so dead. I don't know if that tree is dying or if it's just not getting enough water to some of the branches, but we're gonna have a nice little outdoor fire later tonight. Let me show you the changes in the RV. Yeah, so again, back to the bedroom of my Class A RV here. If you'll remember, the last time I was here at Basecamp, I raised the bed significantly higher, okay? And that was so that I could pack more stuff from the road underneath the bed, raise this up because it was just wasted space otherwise. And one of the things that I determined is that I don't like jumping up onto the bed because it's higher. I felt a little uncomfortable, I might roll off, and Jax also has had a hard time with that. So it had been in my plan to create some kind of a, well, you know how like when you step into a fifth wheel, you go to the front of the fifth wheel and you actually climb upstairs to get to the bedroom up there? Well, I finally did it. I created a separate box step that is 18 inches higher than the ground here. And this way, I'll just show you, when I step on it, I almost hit the roof, but then I can just sit down on the bed like normal. And when I get out of the bed in the morning, my feet plant down like normal, and then I can just step off the bed like normal. It also gives Jax a way to step up 18 inches, and then I have his little stool here. He's getting elderly in his old age here. He's almost 11 next month, and then he can easily climb up onto the bed also. Now, did I need more storage? Well, look, here's the thing. It's different as a full-timer, okay? Now, if you're just a weekend warrior, you probably don't need to do the things that we full-timers do. However, having Basecamp and a spot to unload a bunch of stuff that I get at Disney, like lightsabers and R2-D2 units and Mickey Mouse collection stuff and arcade parts now that I'm gonna have to go search for, there's nothing wrong with a little extra space. Hang on, first of all, I finally put the struts back on the bed. I didn't have them this last time, and the struts are some reason too strong for the bed. So down here, I actually had to install a little clip that keeps the bed from rising, because without this, oh, it's not gonna do it now. The bed was doing this when nobody was on it, and I'm like, yeah, so I had to put this latch, but the struts are in. I forgot, you still gotta pull the bed back a little bit, like that. All right, you can see the strut there on that end, and it is back over on that side. I have started clearing out most of the stuff from here. There's still a little bit of stuff that has to go in the house, not much. Hey, there's a bottle of Jack Daniels right there. Oh, and Jack's stroller isn't in there, so that'll also go in there, but that does create some extra space, and now I have more storage there. And then I'm also gonna carpet this, and maybe even carpet the sides, just try to match it with something. I'm not sure yet, but I figured, why build a step when you could actually have storage? So I built this box with some hinges on both sides, a little lip here to be able to grab it, and then more Mickey storage. And this is a 5/8 inch thick plywood, so yeah, I built it out of 2x4s there, and that way I can put as much weight as I want, and I think that's a really good modification. And I think that will change my idea about the high bed now, because it's not really a high bed. You just step up here and sit on it like normal. But don't quote me on this. I don't think I'm actually done with that just yet. I think I am actually going to create separate little bins, or maybe even go to Walmart and get some of those fabric boxes and possibly store, like, see what I'm trying to think of, since this one's so much easier to get into than the bed, you know, if I need to get into this one every single day, you know, have stuff that I need every day. Underwear, socks, shirts, shorts, pants, jackets, sweaters, stuff like that. Oh, and also my RC trucks, both my Blazer TRX and my Max is going in here also. Well, moving right along, this is the next project. Let's go outside. Okay, so in case you haven't figured out, I utilize my time while at Basecamp to the most. I am constantly working. I'm not just sitting in the hot tub and playing arcades all the time. I am taking care of those projects when I have the safe, secure spot to park the RV with, you know, some hookups and some tools and some power and stuff like that. This has been a long time coming. This guy right here. So what is it, and why might you want one of these? The Olympian heavy-duty 4-port propane tee with 12-foot and 5-foot hoses. Hook up an auxiliary propane cylinder and add an extra propane appliance, like a grill, a camp stove, or lantern. Inside my RV on the other side of the fridge, you'll remember that I had a T put into the copper propane line in there. That T has a quick connect on it so that I can easily plug in my catalytic heater if I needed to, and instead of using the furnace, or in case the furnace went out in the middle of winter, I would still have a way to heat the inside of the RV with the catalytic heater. This is similar, however, it's for the outside, and it gets rid of a problem that I had on the loneliest road when nobody would fill this RV up with propane, but you could get those regular barbecue propane cylinder exchanges. Okay, so here's my dirty propane tank compartment here. We got here about half a tank of propane there. So here's my regulator, here's my on and off switch. That device over there is gonna go between this and the regulator, which is gonna push the regulator back a little bit because it's a 4-way port T that's gonna sit right here. And again, the one little 4-port adapter that's going to go in there is going to serve two purposes. One, it's going to allow me to hook up one of those barbecue grills if I'm out of propane, or let's say you get to a campground or a boondocking spot and you're all set up, the slides are out, the awning's out, the leveling jacks are down, you run out of propane, so you can't take a hot shower, you can't cook, you can't use your fridge. You can throw one of those propane tanks into the smart car, go drive to Home Depot, swap it out, come back out and hook it up. So it's an easy way, simple way to bypass the onboard tank of an RV and use a normal barbecue style, I think you call them a 20-pound propane cylinder, or a 5-gallon. I think it's 20-pound or a 5-gallon tank. Also, it has the port on the outside where you could put an outdoor grill, or my propane camping fireplace will also be able to be on a 15-foot hose out on the side of the RV. So I'm gonna get this hooked up real quick. Obviously, don't do what I do, blah, 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 but yeah. I'm not as dumb as I look. I am going to go through all the directions in here like it says, and you should do the same. I'm going to turn off my propane. I'm going to go back into the RV and light the stove, turn that on, and make sure there's no propane in the line, because I don't want propane squirting back. Then we got to take this cap off. Then I got to undo everything. All right, so there's what the 4-port device looks like there. It's brass. I'm going to disconnect right here. It's going to sit there, and then the whole regulator is going to move back We'll have to talk about putting the cover back on later, but let me get this installed. This is going to be reverse thread here, and because these are flared fittings on both ends, I am not going to need to use any tape. I repeat, you don't need to say anything. You do not need propane tape, gas tape, to install this. They are flared fittings on both ends. Once I disconnect, just like there's none right there, that's going to go in there. This is going to go into where my thumb's at, and you do not need propane tape. But don't do what I do, because I'm still going to do it wrong. There we go, that's out. All right, and as you can see, those two ends are exactly the same, so this is going to go in here. I can't do it one-handed. All right, all hooked up here. Let's go ahead and test for leaks, turn it back on. Got my soapy water here. Just going to spray over all the connections and look for any bubbles. I mean, except for the bubbles that are on there, no, there's no leaks. We're good to go. Well, before we move on, I ended up spraying every single attachment here because I wanted to make absolutely sure that there's no leaks. I mean, you might as well do this. You should probably do this actually weekly on your propane just to make sure there aren't any leaks that you didn't know about, right? We're going to get to this later because obviously this isn't going to do anything mounted like that. You want the regulator valve facing down. Okay, but now if I put that back in, it's not even protecting the regulator at all. So we've got things like the rear wheel, which can kick up dirt and dust and clog this right here, and you do not want this clogged. So I do need to come up with a system. I think I'm going to go back to Home Depot and get either some tin or aluminum and kind of stretch this out a little bit to like here, and then I'll drill new holes in it out here. So I mean, I got some time. I just want you to know I'm not going to leave it like this. I am going to help protect this so it has that valve. But the whole purpose of this, let me go grab a couple things. So I've got my portable tank here hooked up to my barbecue at the house so I can make burgers and stuff. I'm not going to unhook this one, but I wanted to show you. This is the one I'm talking about. Gas stations, Walmart, Home Depot. You can take the empty one, you swap it out. It's easy to get propane. But for this demonstration, we're just going to be using my little 2.5 gallon. You can stick this in your backpack and go to the store on your bicycle and go fill this one up if you find somewhere. It's the same idea, same principle. Let me show you. Okay, again, for this example, I'm in an RV park for 2 weeks, or I go out in the desert somewhere and I'm all comfortable and parked, and I run out of propane in here, can't operate the fridge, can't cook, can't use my hot water heater. Here's what you do, and this kit comes with the right hose. Okay, for the first demonstration, we're gonna use the 5-foot hose that was included. I believe this is a 1/2-inch thread here that is also flared. And then once again, you're gonna recognize this end, right? So we'll turn the propane off once again, and all of these caps, the cap here and the cap here, they put these little plastic things on so you don't lose them. I can see how you might lose them, and I am getting a 10mm for that. And it's not a 10, okay? It's an 11. Are we backwards thread? I can't remember. No, it's normal thread this time, okay. Just to kind of mess with us. I mean, the plastic kind of gets in the way a little bit, but like I said, you don't want to lose these because you don't want dirt and grime getting in there. Now, I was just noticing something. So when I go to hook this up, there's nothing that free turns on here or turns on here. It's all stationary. So the only way to get this 5-foot hose in there is to twist the whole hose, I don't know, 5-6 times around. So I'm gonna have to use 2 hands and kind of spread this out because again, the whole thing needs to turn in order to go in here, which, I don't know, I may see if there's a quick connect that I can pop in here instead for later, but we'll do this for now for testing. I mean, thankfully it's only 5 foot long. If it were much longer, it'd be much more of a pain in the butt. I'm gonna kind of drape it on my foot here and then allow it to just kind of twist like that. Keep twisting. Yeah, that's kind of a pain. Let me tighten this up real quick. Then this part, again, it's a flared fitting there, so you don't need any tape or anything. But it's a lefty tighty on this one. Well, we'll go like that. Get it tight. If you want to at this point, you could also get the soapy water and check this. But here's the thing, we're gonna leave the main tank off. This is turned off because this is now cutting in ahead of time. So when I unhook this right here, turn this on, now we've got propane going, and it's still going through the normal regulator, which is important, and now we are feeding inside. So I wanna test this theory again. My main propane's off, this is on, let's go inside. See if we hear anything here. Oh, I hear it. Bingo. It works, guys, perfectly. And I am going to travel with this little one because it doesn't take up much room in the RV and it's convenient for me. All right, and I will try to remember that that is an 11. Oh, I got to do this again. Hang on. Hopefully I don't ever have to use that. It's pretty much just going to be an emergency or convenience thing, right? Let's talk about this one. Let me unhook this. So now, on the top here, you're probably going to recognize that, right? Heck yeah, I have always used one of these tanks right here in order to use this outdoors, but we don't have to do that anymore, okay? So we got to plug this into a tank. Well, again, this kit that I got, actually, wait a minute. Well, no, this is for a barbecue grill. You know what? Eric, you messed up. Okay, well, essentially, let me show you. This would plug into here, and then you would be able to plug in your outdoor portable grill. However, this particular one currently has the wrong end. This goes straight into a propane tank. I do need to get an adapter, but that defeats the whole purpose. I can't believe that. Well, oh well, 1 out of 2 ain't bad. Let me go do some measurements and find out what kind of metal and stuff I can do, and then I'll get back to you on this project. For right now, I want to start putting it away because it's getting cold. Hang on, I just found the one I actually need. It's a 1-pound propane adapter for disposable throwaway cylinder. So see how it's got the nipple end where my thumb is right there? That goes into here, and then it has the threaded outside there. You can see that right there. This right here screws on from the portable fire grill into there, into the tank with its own regulator. The other reason why it's important that this has its own regulator is because we are bypassing the other one. See, I'm cutting in right here from the main tank. Here's the regulator. So since you're taking this out, I probably should have mentioned that. Make sure that all your little devices, your little camping stoves and your fire rings have their own regulator. If they don't have something like this on the end, you could have problems. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and order this $10 part and then we'll be good. Hang on. This is pretty ingenious. Well, actually, this is about the most redneck fix possible, but this is gonna work for now. Just a couple 2-cent zip ties. I moved the whole plastic base back so that it's covering up to the whole metal. I zip tied the corner. I zip tied this down here. The vent underneath the regulator's right here, so if it goes, it's got room to go. It's now protected completely against dirt and grime and weather, and I know, I did it completely wrong, blah, blah, blah. Don't do what I do. Okay, bye. Have you noticed 96 degrees seems to be our number here? Usually it will get up to 104 degrees, but then again, because I'm missing that bladder and it's on the way, I think that's why, probably. Let's get some bubbles going here, though. Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. Oh, jeez. I'm gonna get my hot tub on for about a half hour here, and then we'll share that campfire later. There we go. We got some Amazon cardboard packaging in there to start it. Put a couple logs in there. I think it's gonna start. Now we're cooking over there. Yeah, I think got a lot of smoke, but it's clean smoke mostly. Burning some of the extra building materials and everything, but still, it's good. It's mostly wood, you know. Nice, peaceful little fire here at Basecamp. I love Basecamp. I really do. Thanks for joining me, guys. All these little repairs and house stuff. Thanks for putting up with it. See you in a few days. Bye, y'all.